Episode 2, State of the W, whatever. Either way, we're moving into team number 2 of the State of the W, which is, I don't really care if I butcher it, but fuck them. Puss, come up with a better name than Tegucigalpa, or whatever the fuck it is, Ticklepuss. Go back to Troy Hill. Stop trying to be some fancy dancy fucking yinza. Stick to your know-abouts. Stick to the basics. Don't try to get all fucking, I'm of an upper class of yins. You're not. You drink Bush Light with fucking nips, and you're married to a twin, who's married to nips as well. So, fuck you. But, on a lighter note, one of the best teams in the W, regardless if he hasn't won a Brule yet, he's on the cusp. And we're going to get to that. As you can see, another team with trajectory going to the fucking moon. But an original W member. So Puss has been with us for all 7 seasons. He's going to be with us for the foreseeable future, I think, until he wins one, and then he'll retire like King Raph did. Just take off in the fucking the limelight of the evening and say, "Fuck it, I'm gone." Win a cup and run off in the sunset, just like every other Steeler that's ever done it. Jerome Bettis. Big Ben didn't win a Super Bowl and retire. He should have, because Pittsburgh hasn't done shit since. So we'll go to the next thing. He's been to 2 Brule Cup Finals, which is pretty good in case of everybody else. I think Segathon has done twice. Nips has done once. LHX hasn't. Mike Vick's done one. And I'm trying to think of somebody else that may have done it, but I can't really think of it at the moment. But either way, you're neither here or there. So here's his records. 36, 32, 45, 43, 40, 49, and 66. Those are his win totals for every season. And he went to the second round, the Brule Finals, first round exit, third round exit, second round exit, Brule Finals again. He can get to the playoffs. He's one of the steady people that gets to the playoffs every single season. He has not missed, and I don't see it ever happening. And if he does, it's going to be because of this over here. His team's going to hit the fucking wall, and he's going to have to rebuild. However, Puss is another one of those fucking ding-dongs who can pull a team together and still win with whoever he has on his roster. Regardless, neither here or there. However, I put a little note here because I just realized this when I was putting together my little roster database over here. This is his strongest team he's ever had. I'll get to that over there. It's fucking ridiculous. It's time to get pumped up. And he will even talk to Dr. Claw. I'll get you, Sean Bell. La. Either way, he's going to do some fucking magic this year, and hopefully it's not more than 66 wins. Because if it is, good night, fucking ladies and gentlemen. He'll get to the Brule Finals again. Let's just hope my prediction is right. He'll have to play me, and Yins' record against me in the playoffs isn't too hot. Remember the Q, Puss? Fuck you, buddy. Either way, we go over here, and Puss has been a fucking logjam. He has one good year, then a down year. One good year, then 2 down years. A good year, then a good year. So he broke the trend that he was having a bad back season after a good win. But like if you look at his Brule Finals, I don't know how he got to the Brule Finals with one of his worst outputs ever of wins, and he got to the Brule Finals. But then he got to the Brule Finals with this too. So he's an enigma. We don't know what his trajectory is. We're going to get to other teams, which shows a little bit more of a rounder picture. The Philly Ding Dongs are a little bit more obvious. There's some people out there like LHX. There's Segathon. There's the whole Minnesota crew. Nate Bell. There's a whole bunch of other coaches that we're going to go through. And you're going to look at their rosters and be like, shit, why haven't they done more? Their records show us otherwise. But this reminds me a little bit of Sean's. But Sean's stuff was a little bit more up here. Either way, it doesn't matter. Strengths. His Canadian dump. Whatever you fucking Yinzers want to call it, you call it the Yinzers dump. Because Yins do dump. Bush Light it, shit it up. I don't care. Your asshole's going to blow out anyways. Checking. Another powerful checker. Yins get fucking on top of people and they check. And I don't mean like Czechoslovakia. I mean like check. They fucking knock your boots off and they make you go and pick it up and knock you while you're trying to pick them up. Streaming. I put him in as a streamer because he's one of the best, if not the best, outside of Unholy. Because Unholy's stuff is just lit as fuck. Tight as fuck. Bang that thing. Too bad I can't fucking put the bamboo tree over here, the palm tree, and give it a nice little stroke it out. Either way, Emmanuel Goalie, he's a fucking gem as well, Emmanuel Goalie. You manual goalies just sit there in the middle and don't do anything extravagant. It seems like you're 7'9" and 400 pounds and just put you into the net and shove you in and look for any little crease in your fucking flab. Either way, his weaknesses, applied pressure. You put pressure on Puss, he kind of, I wouldn't say he folds, but he doesn't respond well when you're doing the same thing he does to you. If you can apply the pressure to him, he feels like he loses his steady pace. He's a pace type player. He gets things moving, he'll fucking comes in waves. Tidal wave you over. He doesn't respond well from one-timers from depth. Because any manual goalie, if you're doing one-timers, if you're from depth, it makes it very difficult for a manual goalie unless he's manual goaling when you're coming down the ice to center ice and then he switches over to it. If he's doing that, he's anticipating that he cannot stop anything other than moving it with manual goalie. I wouldn't say Puss is one of those types of guys, but he is one of those guys that is vulnerable to one-timers before he engages his manual. So if you can crank your fucking forward slap shot as fast as you can, you're going to take advantage of his weakness. Another big thing that Puss has difficulty with, big games. He cannot win big games. He can win series. I wouldn't say they're big games. He knocked out Hoth twice in Game 7s. Great. He won himself a Q championship. Great. But the big games that we're all here for is the W championship. 0-2. We have another call-in on our hands. Call-in 2.0. But Yinza style. Doesn't fucking matter. Drink your Busch Light. Maybe you should change to the Molson Canadian. Because Belly is Canadian. 6 titles in Canada. Where did hockey start? Canada. We're not letting the fucking trophy go back to the U.S. I'm more than happy to let Sean continue winning as long as the cup stays in Canada. Yins. Either way, move over to Puss's team. I did a little bit of a modification from Sean's. There's 4 rookies on Puss's team this year. Some good ones, too. Surprisingly. I wouldn't say surprisingly. Puss normally drafts very strong. He doesn't ever draft a weak team. But Tebow has been with him since day one. 71 overall average. He's got 6 years left. So he'll be with him post-lockout. He has no problem there. Levent Zupper, or Hupper, or whatever, 49 overall backup. He never plays his backups, but he will need a backup depth eventually because when Tebow retires, he has nothing. And in 06, there's some fucking studs. Tuukka Rask, Carey Price. I don't even know how. I think Hendrik Lundqvist comes out in 06 as well. But there's a shitload of goalies, and Yins are one of those type of people that are always at the end of the draft. So you're going to have a difficult time trying to find a fucking future goalie of your team. His forwards, hands down, one of the best group in the league. And I'm going to get to it why. And I also put that he's got only 2 forwards that are right-handed. The rest are all lefties. So I wonder, some teams go for balance. They like to have 3 lefts, 3 rights. Some of them like to go heavy all on one side. Who knows? But some observations I've been paying attention to lately. Rico Faddick picked him up as a rookie as well. 68 overall, 72 high, 59 low in 4 seasons. He's a flash in the pan, but he's a speedster, which Yins has been getting used to doing. Ever since he dumped Fat Keith on me, the sucker that ended up trading Fat Keith to LHX, right back to speed again. He's the magic man of speed. Mogilny, a revelation in the Puss dynasty, 190 points. I think he finished 4 behind Solani, but I think he finished with more assists. I think he had like 70 assists and 120 goals. Who fucking knows? He's going to do it again. 87 overall. He's only got 3 seasons left. Post-lockout, he's down. Another reason why we're going to get into his discussion of his team post-lockout. 93 high, 84 low. Justin Williams is his future, potentially, because he plays 17 years, but his average is 66 overall. He has a high of 86, but a low of 52. 17 years is very good to eventually move around, and he might be one of those pieces he keeps around just for depth, potential trade piece down the road for an expansion team. Who knows? Adam Denmark, one of his gems, but another post-lockout retirement. 83 overall, 3 seasons, a high of 90 and a low of 75. So, another stalwart for him, but another one who's going to retire after the lockout. Alexei Zamenov, 76 overall, 5 seasons. So I think Zamenov will eventually become his Mogilny for 2 years past post-lockout. 88 overall, low 68. His 68s are the last 2 seasons, so it's going to be hard for Puss to find a gem again, especially drafting at the end of the draft. And then Mike Fisher was his rookie last year, 69 overall, 16 seasons, a high of 81 and a low of 50. He's going to be one of his future pieces, I believe. Moving to his defense, he has another rookie, Bryce Salvador, with St. Louis Blue in the NHL. Played a long time. He's gone for 13 years. Averages a 60 overall, 82, 82 overall, and a 50 low. And he's a defense. Then he's got I know his name is Oleg Tverdowski, but I call him No Leg. But he's fast as fuck, so I guess he's got to have 3 legs. Maybe a tripod. Maybe, who knows, a yinzer with a penis. 91 overall, high of 91, low of 71, 5 seasons, 2 years post-lockout. His lowest ratings are actually 1 year before lockout and 1 year after, and then he has 1 good year and then retires. Then he has Big Bird, Adam Burt, Ernie and Burt Dickhead, that he's been trying to prop up for seasons. Last year of his year. He retires after the season. Bye-bye, Big Bird. Maybe you should have put him center ice. 71 overall. High-low is the exact same thing. And Yaroslav Spacek might be his other one. Salvador and Spacek might be his defensive tandem moving forward. Plays 10 years, 81, 62 high-low, an average of 70. Puss, however, on the other hand, has 2 first-round picks this upcoming draft in 03. He's got his and Saguenay Aviators. He's got his pick. I don't know if G-Lock just doesn't want to draft and be a part of it, but he might need to start considering. Maybe he's locking up for the fucking post-lockout. Who knows? And then he has all his picks for 04 and 06, as well as his second and 03. His thing he's going to have to focus on is post-lockout rebuild. So hopefully, Puss, you can figure that out because you're going to need it. Another question that came up, everybody was asking me, what are some of the ratings? How are the goalie and forwards broken down rating-wise? So I was writing it down, and I remember what it was because I go through it every single day. But it's shocking sometimes when I look at it and be like, well, what everybody values is really odd, because when you actually see what the breakdown is, you're going to be like, fuck, I have to reevaluate what I value as a player, or at least value what their overalls impact. So we'll start with goalies. Speed and offense awareness, a big donut, no impact on their overall. So your goalie could be a 6 speed, doesn't matter. Agility, 4.5 for every rating. So if he's a 2, he's a 9 overall, if you want to go as a basis. If he's a 6, he's 27. And then defensive awareness, 4.5. Puck control, 4.5. And Mike Vick, you mentioned it. Glove stick, glove right, stick left, stick right, glove left, all valued at 1 point each. Not a huge value. If you want to focus on a goalie, focus on the agility, defensive awareness, and puck control. I said it. Defensive awareness and puck control are the vital characteristics of a goalie that you can use in the league. If you don't use a manual goaltender, you need to focus on those criteria because your goalies will suck otherwise, and you're fucked. If you're good at manual, it doesn't matter because some of these things will impact your goalie no matter what moving forward. Forwards and defensemen, identical ratings. None of it varies. If you're a defenseman, it's higher there, and if it's lower here, it doesn't make a difference. Ratings that carry a 0 value. Aggression, roughness, and weight. Kleiner, you mentioned those were some of your characteristics that you liked. You ding-dong. You didn't know, but who cares? 3 characteristics that carry a 0 value. Values that carry at least a 1. Shot power. My favorite characteristic. It's funny, but it only carries a 1 rating overall, increase per rating. And when I mean per rating, if a player is 86 and goes to an 87 and he got shot power increase, it's because it's only valued at 1. If you had something else that I'm going to get to, then that will go up by that much. Things that go up by a fraction is stick handling, 1.25 per increase. So stick handling's out of 15. So if you're at 10, you got a 12.5 increase to your rating overall. That's how come you see these variations in players' ratings. Sometimes you'll see them as an 86, and the next game you'll see them as a 77. These things fluctuate. That's why, because there's a range for each one of these categories, because they cannot put 90 categories in every single rating, because there wouldn't be any space in the game for us to play. Number 2's overalls. This one's a little bit bigger of a category. Defensive awareness, shot accuracy, endurance, and passing carry a 2 value. So endurance, we don't play with line changes. So endurance has no bearing on what we do. Unless we do a future league that has line changes, and I know Pink wants to do that. Passing, 2 overall. Shot accuracy, 2 overall. And defensive awareness, 2 overall. So if you got a forward that has a good, like say a 4 or 5, he's a gem on defense. He will back check and fucking help your team. And everybody was getting into it, offense and drones, or how to position your drones. It is a lot of the manual adjustments to make things to align, but everything seems to run in rows. So if you have a winger here and you're manually using this winger and you go to the center, your center drone will continue going straight. Same thing with your left wing. Same thing with your defensemen. They split the forwards between each wing and the center. They're all in alleys. So the thing is if you take your right winger and you're cutting across case your center's still here, your left wing's still here, and your defensemen are still here, which leaves you a gap over here. So if you're attacking this way to that winger, you have this whole section that's open. And then agility is another one that I just missed. It carries a 2 overall. So people that like to dance, I know Wolfie, you told me that you like to dance. You like to have that agility guy, the guy who kind of moves things around. You like how the players dance. Lendros isn't a dancer. Milan Hajduk is not a dancer with the Highland Wolf. He's a dancer with Sean Bell with Thunder Bay winning fucking Bruleys. Wolfie, I pat you on the head again, number 2. Go get another shitty Bill title, because those is as far as you're going to get, and likely as far as I'm going to get. I'm a realist. You're not. You're a fucking Yinza. You're a Philly ding dong. Regardless, I rag on the Philly guys. I love them to death, but at the same time, too, it just makes it so easy. And then the categories that everybody wants to know for forwards. 3 overalls. Speed. Fuck you, speed. You get a guy who has a 6, will jack up his overall rating to 18. All forwards and defensemen start at a 25 overall. As if they had zeros across the board, they'd be at least a 25. 25 overall. So you add that to the 25s anytime you increase it. And then there's an algorithm that calculates it out. If they're below a certain rating, it's 1 for 1. And if they go above, it's divided by a specific figure. Offensive awareness is a 3. Those are the only 2 that are 3. Offensive awareness and speed. So Yinzas, Ding Dongs, Manhattricks, Minnesota boys, the Waterloo tribe, every other ding dong in between. Get to the fucking chopper. Season is 20 days away. I know I said 20. Some guys are saying 24. But it doesn't fucking matter. Get your team together. There's free agents out there. Build your team up if you want to get to the Brule. For some reason, it went from Arnold to the Scottish person, I believe. But either way, next team up is the Manhattricks. Manhattricks Ways is with Segathon.